So while America is never technically going to get into a war with the Soviet Union, our despised enemy, for the next 50 years, we are going to start wars with other countries who are having political leanings that go toward communism. Now, one such instance is in Korea. So the Korean War is going to break out due to America's policy of containment of communism. So let's rewind to a little bit before World War II. Japan had been in charge of the Koreas, but obviously after World War II, Japan was in no shape to be in charge of Korea. So there's kind of a power vacuum. Now, the Koreas have kind of two leaders who emerge. In the South, you have a guy named Syngman Rhee, and he's supported by the United States. Up in the North, you have a guy named Kim Il sung. Now, this guy is a forefather to Kim Jong Un, who we know about today. But Kim Il sung, is backed by the Soviet Union, and his people are more militarily trained and better supplied than the South Koreans. So these two kind of dictators both kind of want to, have the whole Korean peninsula united under them. But to the Soviet Union and the United States, it was a chance to either spread communism or contain it. So before America gets involved, North Korea is going to invade South Korea. Now, North Korea does pretty well. They managed to back up the South Korean government to this little area, and almost the whole country is now united under communism. Well, America couldn't abide by that, because if America let North Korea win, then we have failed at our job of containment of communism. So, war hero from the Pacific, General Douglas MacArthur, gets put in charge of the Korean War. He leads the United Nations troops into Korea, and he pushes back the North Korean government until they're almost decimated. Now, China, keep in mind, is communists themselves, and they're looking at this like, well, the Americans are beating up North Korea. What's to stop them from coming up our direction? So China starts ramping up support of North Korea. Meanwhile, General Douglas MacArthur not only wants to stop North Korea, he wants to continue on into China. President Truman doesn't want to do this. He feels like that if we push too much, that's going to provoke the Soviet Union to do more things in Europe. So MacArthur not only wants to try to go into China, he wants to drop lots of nuclear bombs on China. President Truman says, no way, man, fires MacArthur, and then gives the war to other generals. Now, after this kind of inner turmoil, after getting support from China, North Korea pushes back the South Korean troops backed by America. Now, there's going to be a little bit more fighting. Eventually, the South Korean troops are going to push back up, and we're going to reach a stalemate at here. This is the Armistice Line, or the DMZ. Now, to this day, the Koreas are still separated. All right, this war ended in an armistice, which is technically not an end to the war, it's just an agreement to stop hostility. So, to this day, you're going to see a big kind of minefields and fences and a big split between the two Koreas. North Korea is still communist, and South Korea is democratic and supported by the United States government. We have lots of military bases in South Korea. So, did America succeed here in preventing the spread of communism? Kind of, sorta. It was kind of a debacle. Right? And to this day, since no peace treaty was signed, the Korean War is still kind of going on.